Ivanka and Ghumar or Trinetra and Made in Heaven, they found courage. With them, others find courage. I have started getting messages from trans actors saying that if you have something, you would like to be part of your film. What are you asking credit for? Is the representation more important or yourself? I fought for independent cinema.
Yeah.
I don't go out and say, maine kya. Say, for example, Vijay Verma for Sacred Games. I replaced him. I sent him a long message apologizing and explaining why am I doing this. Violence is in people. And the very reason that violence is in people and prejudice is inside people and everything inside people is what all the other people thrive on. It's all the politicians thrive on.
Hi Anurag, welcome to the Quint.
Hi.
Congratulations on Haddi.
Thank you.
So we've seen so many actors, talk about how acting helps them like explore so many emotions, bring out different shades in them. So is that similar for you as well? What does acting do for you?
Acting sometimes pays my bills and sometimes pays back my gratitude. See, I don't like to act, but once I say yes, I want to do my best to the director's satisfaction. When the director is happy, my job stops there. I don't do more than that.
But you are clearly in demand. See, so many roles. Made in Heaven में also you.
हाँ, वो मेरे सारे दोस्त मुझसे कराते रहते हैं कुछ ना कुछ मैं करता रहता हूँ. They're all friends.
So, there's so much chatter around representation, right? So, while we are so aware that we need very actors with a huge fan base like Nawazuddin Siddiqui, Sushmita Sen to play different types of characters, we've also seen Trinetra being cast in Made in Heaven. So, do you feel that we are taking baby steps in the right direction?
We are taking good baby steps in the right direction. It's great to have conversations of representation. It is great everything is being put out there. And it was much needed for a very long time. And the credit of it must go to, I think, a lot of young generation people who are doing things that we only would think about. Right now, see, it's just started. When we were doing Sacred Games, and we reached out to a lot of trans people to play Cuckoo. They said no. They said no because they did not want to come out as with their identity, right? To that, it has changed to a time where Ivanka, Trinetra, there's so many of them are there in this film. And Ivanka and Ghumar or Trinetra and Made in Heaven, they found courage. With them, others find courage. I have started getting messages from trans actors saying that if you have something, you would like to be part of your film. So they find courage. Now the next step is for them to do acting workshops. And if they want to pursue acting as a career, then they have to keep getting amazingly better at their craft. See, because at the end of the day, it also needs to work on the screen as a performance.
Absolutely.
Right? Because it's not a documentary.
Yeah.
When it is a performance, so the more they work on themselves, so it is, the responsibility lies with us a lot. It's also with them a lot. They need to get better because representation will now come to them. See, there are extremely conscious filmmakers who would want them to represent themselves. But their responsibility also becomes about working on their craft and becoming better and better at it. Not just hoping and wishing for a role that comes their way like that.
Definitely. But you think there's also a hesitation within that community that if they are playing themselves, they will be relegated to getting
But
roles.
I'm saying, see, that's why when you talk about representation, then it's a very, then it will be from all kind of directions, it will be contradiction, but ऐसा नहीं है. पहले यार देखो जब फिल्में शुरू हुई थी ना, so women were not allowed to act. Men used to play women roles.
Yeah.
Dance dramas mein men used to play women roles.
Yeah.
So I think as in which the world opens up ना, हर चीज खुलती जाती है, सारी चीजें होती रहती हैं. हम लोग तुम रिप्रेजेंटेशन की बात छोड़ो, हम लोग आधे से ज्यादा स्टंट जो करते हैं, हम थोड़ी ना करते हैं, गाड़ी उड़ाते हैं. स्टंटमैन करता है जिसको कोई पहचानता नहीं है. क्रेडिट हम लेके जाते हैं, क्रेडिट कोई और लेके जाता है. I'm saying, जब आप बात करते हो तो बात सबकी करनी चाहिए.
So, now that you have brought up, spoken about credit, I'll come back to the recent, chatter which was on social media about people getting credited, not getting credited, recognized, not getting recognized. So,
no, it's a very simple thing. What are you asking credit for? Okay, something is already out there. Okay? there has been conversations of acknowledgement and this and that, right? The filmmaker comes out, acknowledges it on his social media. You want more than that, right? When you want more than that, you need to have conversation. By threatening and all that, then you put everybody in a corner. See, filmmaker is a filmmaker. He's not the showrunner. He's not the writer. He's not somebody all that, right? And there's a filmmaker's journey as well. Filmmaker is also representing his own community. I have seen his journey. He did not come out as who he is until much later, right? He also found courage, and he then started honestly doing something for his own people that nobody else was doing, right? So now what happens is, in order for your larger than life acknowledgement that you want, which you are entitled to wanting anything. It's not like that you can't say that I don't want that. You got a person cancelled who was doing a much larger job than you are. He was actually, is the representation more important or yourself? My only question is, you are fighting a battle or you're fighting a war. Are you more important than your war? Or is the war more important than you? Is your fight for representation more important than you, individual? Or you as then how different are you from any of the autocrats who come out and who fight and say, maine kiya. And they are the worst autocrats. I'm sorry to say this. But for me, representation is always larger. I fought for independent cinema. I don't go out and say, maine kiya. सब लोग मुझे क्रेडिट दो, मैं नहीं होता तो नहीं होता. ये कोई तरीका नहीं होता लड़ने का. आप लड़ाई करते हो तो आप एम्पावर करते हो. आपके अंदर जेनरोसिटी ही नहीं है, आपके अंदर वो काइंडनेस ही नहीं है. हाँ, तो आप फाइट रिप्रेजेंटेशन के लिए नहीं कर रहे, आप खुद सेल्फ के लिए करो. तो पहले वो एक्नॉलेज करो कि मेरे लिए मेरा सेल्फ इंपॉर्टेंट है, रिप्रेजेंटेशन इंपॉर्टेंट नहीं है, मेरी कम्युनिटी इंपॉर्टेंट नहीं है. फॉर मी द रिप्रेजेंटेशन एंड द फाइट फॉर इट इज मच मोर इंपॉर्टेंट, वेयर टू पीपल शुड बी टुगेदर. And there can be problems and there can be debates, and I'm happy to be part of the debate.
Definitely.
But I'm saying, debate it out, sort it out. You went and cancelled a person. You went ahead and cancelled a person. Now what you are doing, when the truth comes out that there was a person before you, who was a blogger, who has put it out, now you're attacking the blogger too. Now you're all the more exposing yourself. Then how are you not toxic anymore? How do I even take you seriously for what you're talking about? Initially, it was a healthy discussion. Then it got toxic. Now it's become very narcissistic.
Then, on a film set, when there are, you did mention that there are so many people working on a project. It's not just the actor, director, producer. So when you are directing movies, then how do you ensure that everyone gets duly credited?
You do as much as you can.
Of course.
It's in the intention. I try to create everyone.
Yeah.
And you do as much as you can.
Yeah.
And sometimes something skips. Sometimes some things are not in your control. Because you're not controlling the whole show.
Yeah.
Like in this case.
Yeah.
The person attacked was not the one controlling the entire show. Right?
Definitely. Yeah.
He was not the one signing anything there. Which I'm saying that. The intention is very important. And उसके बाद भी जब गलती हो जाती है तो acknowledge करना is a very big step which was done duly.
Yes.
Which we all do. If sometimes we skip somebody's name or we miss somebody's name, we apologize. I too, even when cut out somebody's role, I call and apologize. Okay. When I have fired an actor from a show, before shooting with him, say for example, Vijay Verma for Sacred Games, I replaced him. I sent him a long message apologizing, explaining why am I doing this. So I'm saying, it's the intention. It's you go out and you try and do that. You fight for it. You do as much as you can. Nobody's God. Definitely. Nobody sees everything. See, we deal with a certain 5 departments. I'm a filmmaker. I deal with department heads. If you are representing a department too, I'm counting on you to give me the full list of people who have worked for you. Right? If you have a personal agenda with someone and you skip their name, it will eventually come on to me. My intention was not to do that. My biggest problem is when you attack the one voice that is representing you, and that voice backs off, you're doing a much larger damage to that fight.
So, when you're talking about these noises like the social media, so much discussion, attacking, Twitter fights and all of that, did you feel that there was a time when, the anger, these noises were getting to you and they were reflecting in your movies?
Yeah, it always do sometime. It always do. Still do, yeah. They always do.
In a recent interview, you did say that, your films were becoming like sort of a reaction to how you were feeling.
It does. It always do. It always do. It's always sometimes things filter through you onto the screen.
Yes. And how did that change to now, like, so till today? Like,
I don't know. It's like probably the voice has become wiser. It's not as reactionary. It's not as rabid and rhetoric. When it was rhetorical, people liked it more, and that's scary. When it becomes wiser and it's subtler and it's not obvious and not in your face, people like it less. So people liked the angry version of me where everybody was angry because that's more commercial.
Is it though? Because then you came out and made Man Marziya, which was like, so well received.
But I'm saying it was so well received also because it was not dealing with gender politics. It was dealing with other kind of things.
I'll just circle back to Haddi. Like, we see that there's a lot of bloodshed in the movie. And, when you have directed movies like Vasipur, Raman Raghav and all of that, how do you toe the line when it comes to violence? Like, not being, provocative?
I have a very strange relationship with violence. I think violence is in people's head more than it is on screen. Okay. So most of my films, except Vasipur, I kept the violence off screen. You don't see the violence; it's off screen. Yeah. People imagine the worst. The only time I've shown violence on screen is in Gangs of Vasipur.
Yeah.
And that too uncut because I wanted to see that the tolerance. Okay. So I don't cut to close-ups of knife going in. This don't make it palatable.
Yeah.
It wasn't palatable. So either it's not been palatable or it's off screen. Raman Raga, every violent shot is off screen. Violence is in people. And the very reason that violence is in people and prejudice is inside people and everything inside people is what all the other people thrive on. It's all the politicians thrive on.
Recently you did speak about how owing to this like current climate and environment, it's becoming more harder and harder to speak the truth. Is that impacting the creative process also?
No, it is not. See, you have to see the best Holocaust movies came out after the Holocaust was over. But never during the Holocaust. No?
Yeah.
So for that, the films about our dark period will come out.
How would you define this time as like for the creators and actors, filmmakers and actors?
It's the same as always.
See, there's no change. There's OTT. There's so much like.
Yeah, it's become a equalizing platform, but everything has also its own breaking limit.
Yeah.
So there is just so much happening that will also reach a breaking limit.
So you're saying fatigue has set in now?
No, not fatigue. There will be financial fatigue that sets in.
Okay.
Everywhere. So the prices for the films, for the shows, everything is coming down.
Yeah.
All those things will come down.
Okay.
And then what happens is the biggest lure for a lot of people was money more than anything else. So people who are actually invested in storytelling will stay on.
Yeah. Okay. So what's next for actor Anurag?
I don't like to talk about what I'm doing till it's made because I've been scarred forever by Bombay Velvet. The amount of conversation and intrusion into my life, my personal life, on my film set, everywhere was so much that it destroyed my objectivity, everybody's objectivity. The attention on it was more than necessary.
Yeah.
I don't like to talk about it. I'm very clear.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.